evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to an exciting show with the new casual approach. Hi. By the way, I better get the old water. Here we go. A bit around the ears and all that. Yeah. And of course, we've got Deb von Yorkshire.
Shire.
Sorry, terribly sorry. Very posh. And Eric von Essex, but I got Chris here tonight. And also, we've got Bigfoot from California, in America. Now, what's happened? This is Shannon, and she's put some cream on her face, and it's got a bit strange, isn't it? Yeah. No, it's Bigfoot we've got here, who's actually reincarnated as a monkey.
Yes.
So, hello, Shannon.
Hello, I'm actually filling in for Miss Shannon. My name is Monkina, and I'm filling in. She's not feeling very well, so this topic's very disturbing to her, but I'm a little more emotionally mature and able to handle such things.
Yes.
So, yes, I'm Monkina, and I have Monkey with me. This is my friend
nice.
Monkey.
Oh,
we're very happy to be here today.
It's double monkey night.
I'm feeling a bit itchy already.
Excuse me, that's very rude. I would not tolerate rudeness of any kind.
So to be told.
It's called a microaggression. It's a microaggression. I'm going to report you for that.
Yes. Flow snowflake.
That's it. Macroaggression, though. No, sorry.
Anyway, Shannon, can you turn the old camera around? We can have a quick shufty at California, eh?
Yes, let's see the surroundings.
Oh, yes, see?
Lovely.
Is it? And if you look over there, there's Bigfoot walking around.
He's
giving a wide wave. Oh, you just missed it. There he is. Now he's just putting his cigarette out. That's it.
Beautiful.
Right. Tonight, we've got a bit of it's a serious show. We're going to try and lighten it up a little bit.
Yes.
Because we're talking about emotional vampires.
Yes.
And it's quite a serious subject because it's so much close to my heart, because I've actually had in my life 5 attacks from them.
Yeah.
And I think they like me a lot. There's something I'll give them.
Yeah. He'll do.
Yes. And what they do, they always attack sensitive people.
Yeah.
Because we go off a frequency that they're attracted to. So it's as I say, I'll try and get the serious stuff over with first of all, because it is quite a heavy subject. And this week I've got proper notes, you see, so they're not all over the bleeding place. Well, sort of, because that's the way my brain works. So basically, what is an emotional vampire? Well, they come in all different shapes and forms, but you can actually get it down to, for example, basically it's a person that lacks empathy, sensitivity, and warmth.
Yes.
And they often mimic the traits, and they can do it very, very well, of people that have got those traits of sincerity.
Yes.
And they make people warm to them, but it's a very thin veneer. Now, I've been in touch with 2 people from overseas, and it's Anne and Derek. Hello, Anne and Derek. Now, they're not watching tonight because they work during the day. It's in Australia, but they're going to watch it on catch up. So, and they were both subjected to these attacks. And I've also been speaking to an American lady, it's not Shannon, who doesn't wish to be named, who she has looked into the DNA of what attracts these emotional psychopaths, really.
Yeah.
But what it is, because they lack these emotions of sincerity, warmth, and that type of thing, they kind of draw it out of you. But is it them, or is it demons that they've been attached to them? Now, this is the big question. Now, first of all, emotional vampires, well, let's put it another way. The majority of people we're programmed to actually have a soulmate. We're actually programmed for that. Okay.
Yeah.
There is a small percentage in the world of people that like to be on their own.
Yeah.
They don't want a soulmate. There's nothing wrong. They're perfectly nice people. There's nothing wrong with them at all. Fantastic. If they want to be on their own. I don't know what the percentage is, but I would say they're more in the minority than the majority. Okay. Now, I got people got the wrong end of the stick last Monday when I said, don't like being single, things like that. No, we're looking for a soulmate, and that soulmate could be someone that lives apart from you, or it could be someone. It could be all kinds. But we look for a soulmate. That's what I've actually been looking for. Now, out of these people that don't require a soulmate, you've then got the emotional vampires. And they are extremely, they're narcissists.
Yes.
And out of these narcissists, what I've found, what Anne and Derek have found, and the lady in America has found, is that you get the pure narcissist who doesn't, it could be teetotal or anything like that, but somehow along the line, they may have attracted demons to them.
Right.
And then you've got the boozers. Now, most alcoholics and boozers, if not all, are selfish.
Yeah.
And the boozers, as I said last week, and I haven't got this thing about alcohol and things like that because I enjoy a drink with someone. I don't drink much, obviously. I mean, I just have a half or something like that. I'm not against people drinking, but it's excessive. When it goes excessive and they're not drunk, like Richard Burton and that chap Hancock, the comedian, he was a boozer and he turned his wife into an alcoholic because she couldn't get the idea of it. What comes first in their life is them, and along with them is their soulmate, which is the booze.
Yeah.
And third is someone else that they can drain of emotions that they lack.
Yeah.
And this is what they do. Now, they don't really need anybody as such. But I mean, they could go on a desert island as long as they had crates and crates and crates and crates of booze. They'd be quite happy. Well, all day. And this is the problem. And I've had 5 attacks from emotional vampires. And believe me, it really does take it out of you because, and everyone has been a boozer.
Yeah.
Everyone.
I've known some that also don't drink.
Yes,
Believe it
that's
or
right.
not,
They're the narcissists.
Yes, narcissistic. And, I think it's hard to determine sometimes the number of attacks because it can be an ongoing, very insidious thing and it's very sneaky. So, it's interesting that you can actually number the attacks because some people live with these kind of vampires for years.
Yeah.
And they don't, they're just every day, years of it. But I guess sometimes maybe if you call it attack is something more pronounced than the everyday sucking, would you say?
Yeah.
Would you call it something different, Chris?
Well, when it's attacks, it is both. It's an attack, and they're drawing the energy out of you.
Yes.
And what they do, my brother-in-law did this to my sister, and the ones that attack me, they first of all, I'll give you an example. I've taken a load of notes from Anne, okay, overseas, and also Derek. Now, Anne, this is her story, okay.
Yep.
She was a little bit lonely. She couldn't find a soulmate, so she went dancing. She used to belong to a dancing thing, you see, and she went on to dancing, and there was a chap there that would come over and speak to her, and she thought, he sounds, a nice enough bloke, and her heartstrings started to, the old heart pitter patter and things like that. And she thought, but you see, he would sort of come over to her, be nice and pleasant, and show interest. Then he'd be a little bit offhanded. Then he'd show interest again. Then he'd be a little bit offhanded. Sort of, it's not strange, But she started to fall for him, you see. And she said, I like going to such and such a restaurant. Okay. He said, I love going there as well. So he said, and then instead of him saying it, she had to say it. be nice if we could go together one day.
Hmm.
He went, yes, yes.
Yes. Tricky.
She said, would you like to book a table? Oh, yeah. See, so she books a table, certain time, certain hour and that, and she goes along, he doesn't turn up.
That's a very psychopathic trait.
Oh, that's very nasty.
Very
Yes.
nice. And then
Nasty business.
she goes back to the dance hall. He comes over, stirs and everything. He said, what happened to you the other week? What? Well, didn't you get my phone call?
Hmm. Tricky.
No, didn't you get? I text you as well.
Oh.
No, I didn't get the text. No. And then he'd be round her again. And what we discovered, we was talking for a long time about this, is that they have certain traits that you watch for.
Yeah.
And they're very, very subtle, but you know where they are. The first one, which is very, very odd, is kissing, which is a bit weird. Now, my brother-in-law, when he kissed my mother, that's his future mother-in-law, he always kissed her on the lips. And my mum freaked her out.
That would have freaked my mum out as well. That's no.
And we call this the goldfish kiss.
Yeah.
That is
Now-
a clear boundaries violation.
It is.
Precisely.
Yes, exactly why they do it. And this is what President Biden did to his granddaughter. Oh, disgusting, man. Disgusting.
Mm.
Yes, pictures of it. Oh,
He likes
everywhere.
sniffing things as well, doesn't he?
Yes.
Sniffing children and that,
Yes.
Yeah.
allegedly.
About.
But what they do, that is, and we call it the goldfish kiss.
Hmm.
Now, this chap, who was an emotional vampire, did the same to her. So
Right.
when at the end of the dance floor, it was on the lips.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Now, there's different kisses.
Yeah.
For example, if you kiss your auntie, you kiss her on the
Peck on the
cheek.
cheek. Yeah.
peck on the cheek, and it's all to do with love. It's a loving, I love my auntie or whatever.
Yeah.
If you say goodbye, if I say goodbye to a female friend, just a friend, probably if I met you, Dick, hello, how are you? That would be it. And then, but then
I'll demonstrate.
that's it. See, like that. See, that's a monkey kiss.
No,
Not
monkey
like-
business.
But not like this. This is not. Wait.
No.
Not,
right.
no.
No
When
sniffing.
you- if you kind of like somebody, we're not talking about tonsil hockey. Don't get me wrong, but what I'm talking about, you give a more sort of kissy kiss. You say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I like that." But she noticed that she had to do the work.
Right.
Mhm.
See, so when they embraced one night, because she knew she'd been attacked several times by emotional vampires. She put her hands down one night, and he
Yeah.
stand up with his hands down, didn't do anything.
Mhm.
Said good night.
Yes.
And he was quite shocked that she didn't. And when he embraced. The other things is that she had to put her hand on his hand, not the other way around. Very strange. That is the sort of behaviour. And the other one is the silent echo, the echo chamber. And that is, for example, I'll give an example. If you say something like, I've missed you, they'll say, I've missed you.
Yeah.
They'll say the
Yeah.
same back. But
Eating
my
back.
sister had a problem.
Mm.
She said to Bum, is it bum? And yes, the only show that you get a monkey's bum on. There we go. There, as long as it's not a baboon's one. But anyway, I was going to say, my sister, when I was very young, because she's much older than me, she said to my mum, she said, and this was when she was engaged to be married, she said to her future husband, I love you. And she didn't get a response. She said, do you love me? And he went, mm-hmm.
Oh, bad, very bad. That's a bad sign.
Because they don't have emotions.
No, not at all.
So they can screw your emotions up.
Yeah.
And what it is that they put you're a puppet on a chain to them.
Yeah.
So what they'll do, they'll be nice and warm to you. They'll be lovely. And the other thing that you find out, And she knew this chap liked sweets. So she bought him every week some sweets. Okay. He knew what sweets she liked, but then he brought her open packet and said,
Oh, nice, yeah.
Then, when they're in a crowd, they're incredibly generous. These narcissist types, nicest people in the world. How long do you want to be? I'll get you this. I'll get you. Come out. They're spending their money like
Oh
anything.
yes.
But
Show
to
off.
their victim, oh no,
Withholding.
around.
Yes.
So the victim is giving
Yes.
all the time.
This is true.
And then what they do, they attack and they're back. And what they do, they've got a kind of charm which is very difficult to resist.
Yes, this is
And
the
it's like
problem.
being a bee and seeing a honey pot.
Yes.
So you emotionally, and I've been lucky. I think something up there has sort of rescued me in time, sort of thing. But they get you into such an emotional state that you think, oh, bloody hell. And you feel lethargic. You can't think straight. You're leaving stuff around, forgetting where you're putting stuff. You feel emotional. And that's another thing. After you've had a goldfish kiss, if you're a sensitive person, and this is what Anne said, and Derek said the same, you feel very emotional, feel you're going to cry.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Because you've had a goldfish kiss. And she thought, as part of her thinking, I found the right man at last.
No.
And I thought, I found the right person at last. Right girl at last.
No. It's very tricky.
This is the thing. And as I say, I think it took 6 time. I had to shoot down 6 aircraft to become an ace pilot. I'm 5, so I need one more emotional vampire, and I'll be an ace. I could sort of cross them off, you know. But I'm wondering what other people, whether they've had some, because it's very strange. And I'm going to go on to the lady in America who's looked into her DNA and found out something about because she said to me, she said, was there ever been an alcoholic in your family tree? And I said, yes, my father's father's father, my great grandfather was not an alcoholic. He was just an absolute boozer. And he used to, because remember, boozers, when they're in a crowd, they're really nice people. They've got this thin veneer. Yeah, you know, they're lovely, super people. But when they're away from the crowd, they're moody.
Yeah.
Because their booze is their food.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is the very strange thing. My great-great-grandfather used to beat my grandfather up. I mean, I never met my grandfather. He died before I was born. And he had such a terrible childhood. Yet when his father was around, he was the, marvellous father. And you'd never think it. That he signed the drinking pledge and never drunk. My father never drunk. And I never, I don't mind occasional spirits or, alcoholic drink. But it's very, very occasional. And but as I say, I'm not against alcohol, and I'm not against people that drink it. Now, I did have an email through from someone that said, "Oh, my husband was." This woman said, "My husband was a heavy drinker, but he was very nice. He never had any of these traits." Yeah, there's always the exception to the rule. But what we found is that it seems to be every time, and the question is, do they get some sort of sadistic pleasure out of it? And I think they do.
Yeah.
But I think there's something behind there, a demon that's causing it. And what this lady in America, who doesn't wish to be named, she found out that if you've had an alcoholic in your family, as I've had, and it can go back several generations, it plants something in your DNA, which is like an open door to narcissistic boozers. So, you go on date after date and all you get is bloody boozers and alkies. And it's like saying, "Hey, welcome in, come in." It's like opening your front door and saying, "I've got a 3-course meal here," because you're inviting them in.
I have an idea about that, actually, because I think that Miss Shannon here, she says that yes, she had it in her family too, and she's often been victimized. She had alcoholism in the family and victimization, but I think that it's because, well, you could see DNA as a sort of memory, but also the behaviors are passed down through the family.
Yeah.
So when you have a mother like her mother who had a alcohol in her father, and then it's just these patterns emerge. So the alcoholic treats the spouse a certain way, and the children absorb this and they learn this, so that and then they become victims later because they learn the patterns. See,
Yeah.
and they mimic the patterns. It's very hard when you don't have a good example of a good stable relationship to pattern off of, I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
That
Yes.
is a very good point. But you see, the thing is that alcoholism hasn't been in my family since the 1840s.
No.
Well, yes, but I mean, well, but I wonder, have they broken the pattern of behavior? See, but Miss Shannon's parents were not alcoholics, but there was a behavioral pattern. You could say that's similar, right?
Well,
So you could see the behaviors being, it's called the family curse, and somebody has to break it. So they
that's
keep
it.
the pattern keeps repeating and
Yeah.
repeating, even if there's an absence or presence of alcohol. Maybe it started with the alcohol or another drug or some other distraction, some other obsession, but I think the patterns have to be broken. Somebody has to wake up out of this and then teach the next generation something
Yes.
different. Yes.
Exactly.
You're spot on there. It could be something like, but Derek, that's Anne's. This is quite an incredible story, you see, because Anne was getting absolute. This is the people in Aussie. She was getting, I would say, desperate, but every time she met someone, there's a problem. She kept attracting these bloody emotional vampires.
Yeah.
That was screwing her up, and her emotional energy was being drained and drained and drained from her. And her husband, not at that stage, her now husband, was acting the same. And he thought there's something, and he researched into it, and she researched into it. And what he did, he found out that what happens is that to find a soulmate, you give out a frequency and an energy.
Yes.
To find that person, because energy is likewise, you see, because it's all to do with energy, frequency, and vibration. And of course, that is disrupted.
Yeah.
So, therefore, where you would normally be, your energy would be on top form, like a battery that's been charged. Let's look at the analogy of a car battery. Your battery is sluggish, and you can't, you're like this.
Yeah.
So what Derek did, he actually went along to all different classes and things like that to make sure that his energies were topped up. But the other thing about these emotional vampires is they hang around New Age things a lot. And what Anne told me was that this chap had a tattoo on his arm of some Buddhist thing. And now I always say, if you know something about something, and now I'm not showing off, but I know a fair amount about Buddhism and that, that type of thing. But I don't let on. So if I see somebody with, now the other thing is was it New Age bling? They've got a bit of bling around them. This bloke had a bling around it, and she knew what this thing was around it, but she did the same as me. And that's, what is that? I don't know what it is. You didn't know what it is. And you judge by the reply. And if the reply is, oh, it's a such and such a thing, and go chanting and blah, 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 and they go into it, and I went down to such and such a place, and it was fantastic, we did this, did that. But if they go, yeah, to do with something, such and such a chant, no more. You see, that's another thing about these emotional vampires. You can talk to them for hours, but you never find out anything about them.
No.
You get little snippets, but you don't find much. They don't go deeply into things.
No, they don't. It's all surface.
All surface. And for example, when we're speaking, we go back into our past. You go back into all different thoughts. I sometimes come out with stories and things like that. But none of that. But, it's really, I find it fascinating. And I'm going to sort of try it now. I'm with recovery, I've learned a lot from Anne and Derek.
Yeah.
And you've got to build a wall to stop them. And Derek, you can go to a shaman to get rid of this DNA thing that's attracting them. So you'll never attract them again.
Yeah.
Because they're not there because they want to be your soulmate or anything to do with you. They're there to drain your emotional energy, what they haven't got. Again, and the other thing that you've got to guard against is surely not. Now, little word of advice. If you are drained by an emotional vampire and you're in a friendly group, keep that shut.
Yeah.
Keep it closed. Because what will happen, they're very clever manipulators. And what happened to Derek, it was the woman that he was dating switched it round.
Yeah.
Oh, he's all over me. He wouldn't leave me alone. And with Anne, the bloke said, oh, she's going through a menopause. She's a bit of a strange woman, you know this.
Yeah.
And she found her friends turning against her. So keep that closed. Because they
Yes.
manipulate things.
Yes, I know. I know one who pretended, he wouldn't reveal much, but he would tell a story when he wanted to get other people to tell similar stories and make something up.
Yes.
Make up a dream, make up something, and to see if other people will say, "Oh yes, I also." And then you find out all the spots, the place to push their buttons. I'd find the buttons.
Oh, spot on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Spot
I've seen
right
this
on.
happen. It's amazing. I want to say to the shamans, be careful, because some of them are the same kind of people. They say they're shamans and they try to help you.
Yes.
And then you open up to them doing the same things.
Yes.
They often disguise as spiritual leaders and all this kind of thing. You have to be
Bullshit.
very careful. Oh, which reminds me that we call it goldfish kiss. Have you heard of the Nexum group? Do you remember hearing about Nexum? This very scary cult that happened in the U.S.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Yes, very creepy. So, as led by a very, confident man, they're very confident. So they take you in already by the confidence, the friendliness, whatever. So one of the survivors, these women, he lured in these successful type, new age business type oriented women, successful, want to be successful. First, it was just all about, it's a success. It's a group for helping you be successful
Yes.
or something with the business.
Yes.
And had all these kind of things they went through. Well, it turned out into become very sick, ritualistic abuse, torture of these women.
Yeah.
Branding them, but in the end, branding them with his initials. And this man, one of the women who she was interviewed, she said, yes, I had a red flag at the very start, because when he came to meet me, first meeting him, he kissed me on the lips.
Oof.
The first meeting.
Oh,
first meeting.
This
is very unusual, but maybe that's just how he is, whatever, But no, that's a boundary violation. That's a control move. It's a and it has an emotional response very often, and it also throws you off balance.
Yeah.
It's very sneaky. And some of these manipulators, these vampires, they also like to touch you a lot, and I've heard they can make they touch you a specific place. And they will touch you there again. They call it a point. They make a point on you. And then when they touch you there again, you will have an association, a kind of emotional response, and they take advantage of it. So they train you. Every time they touch you, they say certain thing, they get you to think about a certain thing, and then they touch you again, and that same thought comes up, that same emotion comes up.
Yeah.
So it's very sneaky. Yes.
I think you're talking about psychopaths, though, because
the psychopaths are often the same people that are the vampires. If you think about all the leaders today, you could say they're all this type of people.
Oh, yes,
destroying the world. But yes,
the ones that these vampires, these emotional vampires, that's the thing. They're ice cold. They don't touch.
Sometimes
they lead you on to. They do and they don't. You've got to
when they want to. When
you're saying goodbye,
them, yes.
They'll stand there and they'll lean forward, and then you gradually embrace, and then you get the goldfish.
Yes.
Then they'll hug, then the goldfish.
Yes.
And they're leading you on, and then it's back again, because part of it, you see, is to keep you
Drawing you in.
kind of state of emotional stress,
Yes.
trauma.
Yeah.
Do they like me? Do they not like me? Do they like me? And the thing is, they are letting out a frequency that is difficult to resist. They're very
Yes.
clever. And what we've discovered is they can change their frequencies. But New Age, be really careful.
Yes.
Do not.
Well, see, they don't
Unless you
usually,
really
they
know
don't-
the person, love them, do anything with a pineal gland, because that is
No.
bloody dangerous.
Oh, yes.
You don't know what you're doing it with. And also, you can also, they kind of, what Anne found out also was that this bloke was going to New Age places, you know, sort of drum bath and all that, you know what I mean, all this. And when she literally shut him off, she decided to go to one of these places for healing. The bastard was there, and he was doing the same with another woman. And he tried it on with her again, and she sort of get out of the bloody way. And you've got a psychological barrier away. You're not rude to them. I mean, let's face it, if you meet somebody, if you're looking for somebody, and you don't get on, that sometimes happens. You can always be polite and say, look, very nice person, thank you very much, but we don't really get on. If you've seen each other for, say, a couple of days, you just say, you know, good luck, no hard feelings, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know where you stand. You know, there's no messing about, no sort of putting you on. And if you're adult, you do those sort of things. But those sort of people, they sort of don't act, always, and they always make a beeline for you, and things like that. And it's very clever. They're very clever in manipulating, but you will find that they'll be very shallow.
Yeah.
So more shallow than duck pond. But shall we go into chat, or should we have an advert, or should we lighten it up a bit? It's a bit serious, isn't it?
Right.
So
Should we play my new advert then?
let's play them an advert, shall
Oh,
we?
great. Wonderful.
It's only a minute long.
Right.
I have put it where I can find it. There we go. Are we ready?
Are you in the mood for love? Here at Fock and Flirtations, all our exotic, thoroughly vetted clients are waiting to meet you. Come and see. Here's Benny. He loves cigs, guns, fivers and laminate flooring. Gerda is looking for a big man to go to the bottle bank and do the drying up with her favourite tea towel. Vlad likes to impress with his upper body strength. He's all muscle. Yummy. Anya loves romance, and if you have a toilet, the world is your oyster with this match. And this person is the party animal we all aspire to be. Go get 'em, tiger. So let love into your life and visit us soon.
That's fantastic. Are you a bloody mind reader? Because it's sort of in tune with what we're talking about tonight, isn't it? Oh, it's brilliant. I bet you took a bloody long time to do that. That's a classic one.
Oh, I've got the hang of it now. We just throw them together.
What about that poor widower whose first wife died due to eating poison mushrooms, second wife died due to eating poison mushrooms, third wife died because he wouldn't eat the poison mushrooms.
Yeah.
Oh, so coming up to Fockham dating. Whoa, you know.
Flirtations.
Flirtations. I love it.
Ooh.
That's amazing, Deb.
Thank you.
It's hilarious.
Shall we have a quick look, Shufti, in chat?
Some,
Hello, everybody in chat. And
yes,
what
hello.
we got here? Oh, we got old Bob again. Hello, Bob, Tricky Dicky, and Lorraine.
V, Louise, Ancient Ruby, Dobby Sock,
Hello.
Robbie Green, Joe Weeks.
Wait, there's a sock in there. Who's a sock? Dobby's sock. I'm a sock.
Yeah,
Are you a sock, monkey?
You've got two socks.
Is there more sock? Is there more socks in the audience?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
Cricket. I'm thinking Philip Schofield was popping out. Sorry, with golden goat.
Yeah. He's not going for looking though.
He's nice, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is he really white, or is it the camera that's making him look white?
It's his dressing gown.
Oh, it's his dressing gown. Sorry.
It's a little bathrobe.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
That's very nice. A very nice robe.
Yes.
Shall we nip into chat and have a quick shifty?
Oh, yes.
Add some comments if you want me to go through those.
Oh, yes, please. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Mike's saying, I actually believe there are two types, conscious psychic vampires and unconscious psychic vampires. That's interesting.
I agree with you. I think there is.
Yes.
But actually, the question that I couldn't quite get to the bottom of is, do these narcissists, do they get an actual kick out of playing with people's emotions? Because they couldn't give a shit about the
Oh,
person.
yes.
Do they get a kick out of it by playing the
Yes.
piano
They
with
probably
the
do,
person's
yeah.
emotions?
Yeah.
I think they do.
Yeah.
But again, I rub this in a lot. Be careful of the, oh, surely not. Because they're
Yeah.
generally the most innocent looking people. They're also,
Oh, yes.
Yes.
really? Never.
Mm.
Like my brother-in-law, the antics he got up to, and all the rest of the family, when he spent the rest of the family, oh, he was a perfect gentleman.
Yeah.
You know,
You're wrong.
throwing money around.
Oh, yes, they would.
Come on,
Oh,
you know,
yes, they're
really
so
marvelous.
yes, show off.
You know,
Oh, they're so flattering. People
Yeah.
look out for flattery. They're very careful of flattery.
oh,
Yes.
very flattery.
You
Yeah.
have to wonder about flattery. And you know, we have some experiences where a certain person, you know, we had a very bad experience with, and he was a vampire, and then other people won't see it. And it's very dangerous to try to tell the people who don't want to see it, who's still in contact, because they go and blab their mouths. You get
Yes.
you into big trouble. You get targeted.
Yeah.
And you don't want this kind of
Yes.
person targeting you after they're done with you already.
Mm.
If you got away from them successfully, you don't want them coming after you.
Yes.
Because
right.
it's, yes, I mean, you don't, so you have to keep your mouth shut. If people, they have to learn their own hard way. Sometimes takes years. They associate with this person, seems very nice, does very nice things for them.
Yeah.
And then, bammo. If they want, if they're ready to suck your blood, they groom you. You see, they have you ready. They have all kinds already on the side for when they need it.
Yeah.
They might not need you for anything until later. So.
Well, that's it. Because the thing is, you know, if you meet someone, you either get on or you don't get on. But the vampires are very clever. They sort of, oh, I like you, I want you, and then back, and then I want you. I mean, I called it emotional bungee jumping, and that's what they're doing. They're playing with your emotions all the time, but they're leading you on, and they're draining your emotions because you're thinking.
Yes, they use human psychology. They understand that it's alluring to people to, why is this person interested but not interested? And then it gets you interested in them too. And then you start to, yes, it's this, but they just take advantage of vulnerabilities.
Yes. They take advantage of people's vulnerabilities.
Yes.
You're quite right.
Yes.
And Louise says they breed negativity in those around them while sucking the joy from them.
Oh, terrible.
Yes. Although when they're with the crowd, they're of life and, well, not necessarily life and soul, but they're being talkative and, you know. But,
yes, they put on a show. They put on a show. Yeah,
it's a show.
Yeah.
But again, this show, my attitude, if the person turns against you, from what they said, they're not your friend. So they're doing you a favour.
No.
Because your friends will stick by you because they can see through it. And so that's my feeling is, if ever somebody goes against me after what somebody's said, they're not worth knowing anyway.
That's quite true.
Because poor old Derek, who's he had this.
Yeah.
You know, his friends turned against him. So that's why stum. Keep that stum. That's the best thing. And just ride the storm by saying nothing. Ancient Ruby, that's interesting. Do you want to read it out, Deb?
Yeah. Narcissists never show true colours in public, so they must be aware how to abuse others, and nothing is their fault.
That's right. Yes, that's right. But I've actually found there's the two types. There's the very aggressive ones.
Yeah.
And the very plastic ones.
Yeah.
The plastic ones are more dangerous.
Yeah.
Because they're the quite calculating ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't know what they're thinking and doing, you know. It's really is. It's quite something, you know.
This is quite
Monkey, he doesn't say much. Do you think I should be worried?
I would.
Yeah, he's calculating.
He is, isn't he? Yes.
Louise is saying, my son made me ill with a condition called FND. I have heard of that, but I can't remember what it stands for.
I don't know what it stands for.
Caused by narcissistic abuse.
Oh, no.
That's sorry to hear that. Yes. That's
family. But she
Yeah.
said a bit later on, I missed it. She'd blocked it out by I can't remember.
We got to
what
block. That's the thing. But the other thing, if you go along to try and
Pretty
get this thing in your DNA removed so you don't attract those bastards,
Yeah.
so they won't find you attractive, you got to be
Mm.
careful who you go along to, because
Yeah.
they can
Yes.
be.
I think maybe
You
you
don't know
could
what
just
they are.
growing
Some
up.
people, I
Yes.
mean, Catholics and that. I mean, I'm not religious, but Catholics will go to an exorcist, I suppose.
Oh yes.
But you see, I think what they do, there are demons in them because that are using them like a taxi service,
Yes.
getting around, and
It
they want to
is.
spread, and they want to
Creepy.
plant roots into sensitive people, where they put a demon into them that then attracts their own kind. That attracts the, shall we say, the
Victims
emotional
of-
vampires.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Do you see my point? Because
Yeah.
that's how they replicate. They just keep on doing that all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like a curse. It really is. But what I was going to say about Anne and Derek is that Derek did all he could. He went to emotional things, emotional counselling. Not counselling, what they call it. He did gongs, drums, and all this sort of stuff.
Right,
and, Tibetan stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know quite what happened, but they both reached the same spot and they got rid of whatever it was. And he built this like firewall and he met Anne within 3 weeks. Weird, isn't
Right.
it? So what had happened, his emotions have been drained and he built the emotions up, got rid of this shit, whatever it was, that was this demon. And of course he found her and she'd lost it as well.
Yeah.
They'd both come together. They both found it, functional neurological disorder. Oh, that sounds awful, doesn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, it does.
That sounds
Yeah.
bad, doesn't it? That's really sort of what we do here. Some nice things. Any more in chat, Deb?
We've got some more comments. We've got Dobby Sock saying, I've come across emotional vampires in the past. The relief you feel when you get away from them is immense. It is.
Yes.
Oh, spot on.
Yeah.
And also, though, if you see them again, you see them in a different light.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you just cut them off. Boom.
Yeah.
It can
You've
be
got this sort of
traumatizing.
wall there, Yeah.
I think you can have PTSD when you see them again.
Yeah.
Also, just after you get away, you finally realize how crazy it was.
Exactly. Yeah. You can
You
see
know,
it then. Right? Yeah.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
though, sometimes it just takes the third strike or whatever. You're out. You finally have enough with them, and you have enough, and then you don't need to go to shaman or anything. You just know. You start to understand your own worth, and you don't need to. You see the signs. You know how to avoid them. You can see
Yeah.
them better right away.
Yeah.
And I always say you have to go with how you feel when you first meet somebody. They could say all kinds of things. They could be flattering, very nice, but inside you feel something wrong.
Yes.
Something
Correct.
wrong. So you
But
have
remember-
to listen to that. Listen to that feeling. Yes.
But the thing is, you don't, because they've changed their frequency and they're so appealing, they're sucking you in, even though you're overriding those feelings because you're getting such strong feelings.
Yes. But you have
Yeah.
to.
And that's
You have
where
to stop.
they are
The
they are
first
like
moment
sort of
you feel
Venus
it.
flytrap.
Yes. It's scary. But I think you
It's
can.
scary.
If you pay more attention to yourself at the first moments and you feel it, then you get away early enough. Then you can get away from the trap.
Yeah.
Perhaps. I don't know.
Yes.
It's just a
No,
thought.
You can't.
Nice.
Hindsight, though, that's the thing.
Hindsight is very, yes, it's his
it is.
problem.
But when you're in that situation, and of course they'll go on to you if you're lonely, if
Yes.
you're stressed, if you're down, they'll plug straight into you,
Yeah.
Yes.
and
Yeah,
that's it.
They go jugular.
Yeah, they go for the juggler sort of thing.
Also,
But-
they might, if you have another kind of need, like a place to live or a work or something,
Yes.
you have a desperate situation,
Then
and
they've
they
got
have,
a hold over
then
you.
they have a reason to exploit you. But
Yes.
they can say, oh, you can do this for me, and blah, blah, blah. Next
Yeah.
thing you know, yes.
Spot
Lots of
on,
ways,
Wish.
yes.
Narcissists are drawn to empaths
Yes.
because they don't have empathy.
Yes.
You see, the other thing we discussed is that they must be shit people, because to play with people's emotions like that and have no feelings about it, it's.
And they don't care. I've
But
seen
then,
it. I've
but
seen
then
it
when you
happen.
think of
Yes.
karma, karma won't get them because they don't have emotions like
Yeah.
us. It wouldn't really bother them.
Yeah.
So karma won't get them. They just sort of carry on.
I've seen it. I've seen it just all of a sudden go cold on the person. You
Yeah.
know, just like friendly, warm, whatever. When they get exposed or when they're done with the person, none of that is there. It's all gone,
Hmm.
and they don't care when the person's gone. They don't cry over them. Nothing.
No.
But
Nothing.
the other thing is, supposing someone fancies you and you don't fancy them, and you can see they're making advances. As a bloke, it'd say, "Oh, yeah, very nice, but we're not really, thank you very much, but you're a very attractive, nice person, but you're not my type." But I don't mean that in a rude sense. You can be a little bit political about it, and the other way around.
Yeah.
That's an adult way of going about things. Well, you know where a person's because you've got feelings for that person. You don't want to hurt their feelings.
Exactly. Yeah.
But with the emotional vampire, they're in. They're playing that. They're playing that that heartstrings all the time. It's bloody cruel. It really is. I'd string the bastards up if I.
Yeah. Mike's got a good one. I knew a French bloke who was going out with a good friend of mine. He was definitely an emotional vampire and left her a shell of her former self.
Bloody hell.
I learned how to protect myself from him and help her get away from him. So that's good.
That's pretty good, yes.
Yeah. Because as my old mum used to always say, the onlooker sees more of the game.
Yes. Yes.
That's a good one.
And it's true.
That is true, isn't it?
Yeah. But whether you can convince the person that's involved with somebody like
That's very difficult.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
Because I'm a classic onlooker. I sit on a shelf most of the time.
Yeah.
And people forget I'm there. So
yeah. You take it all in though, monkey.
But if
That's
they
right.
don't want to get out, if they still care, they're attached to this person, they still hope for the best. They want to see the best part. They will not see it, and they will hate you for telling them.
Yes.
So be careful. They'll shoot the messenger every time.
Been there, done that.
Yes, that's right.
Oh well.
Yeah.
They're also very thick-skinned
Yeah.
because they've got no embarrassment. Because remember, because they're narcissists, they don't feel embarrassment. So if they let you down or they've wound you up, I mean, look what happened to Nan when she went to a restaurant. He didn't turn up. Come out with all that bullshit about telephone calls and that.
Yeah.
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 And it happened twice.
Twice.
Yeah, because she's fallen for him.
Yeah.
And of course, he was doing the old, But then once they'll go on to someone else.
Yeah.
Oh dear, we're seeing Monkey's naughty bits. We can't do that, can we?
That's not naughty. Our naughty bits are hidden.
My monkey's got an naughty.
Oh, that one. Oh my goodness.
DD tips.
He's got a mobile toilet paper with him.
Yeah. Cover his bottom up with that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sean Hamers came up with a good one here. Or am I jumping ahead, dear?
No, you're on that. I was going to put that.
Okay, if that were possible.
Yes.
Here we go.
It's the core of what is called the human condition, trauma and the coping mechanisms that derive from abuse. It needs to be consciously healed or it just passes on to the next generation.
That's right.
Very true.
Spot right on.
Family curse. Exactly.
Yeah.
Family curse, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And then Robbie's saying, Chris, isn't the shaman thing really about convincing that person that they have changed? So if they believe they have changed, then they have. Because I can't see how a shaman could change DNA. I don't think it's changing DNA so much as you're changing how you...
Yeah, or getting rid of what's in you.
Yeah.
Just getting it out. That's the thing. I mean, you look at these exorcists. I've seen an exorcism on television. Whether it was true or not, I don't know. But it's pretty something. I think it was true.
Yeah.
And it is. There are these nasty things floating around which get into people. Like that. But you see, the thing is, whatever it is that's attracting these types to me.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that I'll be able to, I'm getting healing and things like that.
Yes.
That they'll just sod off and think, I won't attract them. But again, they always go for sensitive
Yeah.
people and empaths. So I've got
Yes.
to build this firewall and try and be a bit tougher inside.
Yeah.
But there
I
are
think
women
it's
out
good.
there as
It's good
bad
to
as
try.
that's
Oh,
right.
sorry.
That's right. Because you
Sorry.
get both sides, male and female.
Oh yes, I've heard of very bad women doing bad things to men.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not just the men that are the perpetrators.
No.
No.
No,
Well, look
no,
at
not
my
at all.
side. It's a woman that did it.
Yes.
But then you get these massive. I mean, my brother-in-law is not only an emotional psychopath. He's a vampire. He's a psychopath as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I
that's
think
really,
he
really
infected
cool.
both my mother and sister because they can infect people. Those type. Okay.
Yeah, I think
Infected both.
that's energy vampires and psychopathic tendencies. It all runs together. Same as
Yes.
narcissism. It's all in the same thing.
Yes.
Hmm.
Exactly.
It's
Oh,
quite something.
that's a good one, Mike. Oh, hang on, I've got the
that?
wrong one. Mike's saying I have a book called The Psychic Vampire Codex by an author called Michelle Ballinger.
Oh.
That's interesting.
That might be
Yes.
worth.
I'm going to make a note of that after
Yes.
the show. Thanks, Mike. That sounds a good one. That does.
It does.
Because I thought of writing a book about it, but
Yes.
I mean, this woman in America's writing about it, and it's something that what we've found. I mean, what that woman in America's found is bloody interesting about it. The DNA thing. But what we've found with that goldfish kissing and things like it seems to be all of them. They've all got the same traits.
Yes.
Everyone, without exception. So
Yes.
if you have a date with someone and you get the goldfish kiss, and the funny sort of you have to the echo chamber, you say something like, I've enjoyed tonight. I've enjoyed tonight.
Yeah.
It's called mirroring. The mirroring. Yes.
Yeah.
Also, not just kisses. I know one who did a hugs. There was a very weird hug, like so very doesn't touch, very standoffish, very weird with you, and then gives you big hug.
Yeah.
That is very.
That's it.
That is very. That doesn't let go. Keeps hugging. Oh, says like this. So hugging. Let's see. I'll demonstrate.
That's it.
And,
You think, blimey.
Thank you. Oh, such a nice hug.
That's it. Spot right on.
Yes.
You've got it there, Shannon. It's absolutely spot on.
Boundary and violator. Always doing a boundary violation. So we have to protect ourselves by maintaining our boundaries.
Yeah.
It's okay to say, no, I don't want a hug or all these things. You think you're being rude.
Yeah.
But you're not being rude. If you have to remember you are important and you have to protect yourself from this.
Yes.
So you don't have to touch everybody who wants to touch you.
Yeah.
I think you're talking about the pervy type of blokes, though, Shannon.
Yes, some are pervy. Yes.
The psychic vampires are not like that.
Yes,
they
but
won't touch you.
No, I know when it doesn't not touching most of the time, but when it touch a very intentional touch in order to violate the boundary, to make you uncomfortable.
Well, no,
to have power over you.
It's a very powerful hug. It's I like you hug.
No,
yeah, see, that's the thing. And of course, they're tearing your heartstrings because you think, wow, this person likes me because they're showing all the, they're giving you all the, shall we say, they're showing all the things that will attract you.
Yes.
And then cool off. And then attract you and cool off. And that's like that all the time.
Yo-yo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Protect your. This is an interesting one.
And this is why when you get the hug and you get excited because they didn't touch you, they didn't look at you, whatever, and then finally they touch you, it's like, oh, okay, it's okay, they like me, because you don't know the rest of the time, you don't know they like you or not.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's an interesting one.
Sean's just saying, protect your spirit because you're in the place where spirits get eaten, by John Trudell, one of the finest speakers of the 21st century. 20th century.
20th century.
20th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
That's an interesting one.
Yes.
Thanks. You're really coming up with these. They're really, really brilliant. But let's widen this out, shall we?
Oh, Kath made a good comment.
Hang on. Or very inappropriate comments designed to make you uncomfortable. No, I haven't found that. They humiliate you sometimes, but the ones, the aggressive ones do, but the placid ones don't, because they're cold and calculating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they don't. But they're very sort of. How can I explain it? It's like with the sweets,
Yeah.
With you, they're mean, but with everybody else, they're not.
Yeah.
It's sort of that's it really is. But if you do those tests, like for example, if they're into New Age and you know a lot about it, make
Yeah.
out you don't know a lot about it.
Yeah.
Then you'll find out a little bit more. I do that all the time. Was it really? Oh,
Yeah.
it's sort of it's surprising. You can tell, you can trip them up. But the other one I'm going to say is, don't you think that governments do this to us?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
doing this to us all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, now you look at over the last 2 years, haven't they been working as emotional vampires?
Yeah.
What I'm going to go on to is how we can protect ourselves mentally from them.
Yes.
Because I'm broadening this out now, because the experience I've had with emotional vampires, I say, any one more. So any takings there for an emotional vampire, and I'll have 6 become on my sleeve, you know.
Yeah.
Trust them off, like, you know, I'm a veteran of 6 emotional vampires. But what I was going to say is that you think what the government's been doing to us.
Well, yeah, this is Shannon back. Mankina's taking a break. She got tired.
Hello? Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely, because this is I mean, I think, when I was experiencing something like this not too long ago myself, I kept thinking where I was and went under the control of this person, that it was a microcosm
Yeah.
of the world. Like, I'm like, this is exactly how everything operates in the world. There's these hierarchies. The ones at the top have the power control, and they use this emotional manipulation and all these tactics in order to, to keep us in our places. And it's like this, they do suck. I think they do suck off our energies, because think about it, because they want us to be fearful, and they definitely use that as something that somehow feeds them. I mean, the whole campaigns, all these campaigns around the last couple years to get us to comply with certain really horrible things that are killing people, and use the manipulation tactics,
Yes.
use emotional manipulation. They even have it listed out in their, I think in your country it's called SAGE. I don't know if you heard about these SAGE documents.
Yes.
And it's like listed out, like, we're going to basically saying we will use fear. We use fear to motivate people. They have this tricky kind of language, but to get this kind of compliance, so we can't force them, but we'll motivate them with fear and with social responsibility, like shaming kind of tactics, right? So shame and fear and all these, I mean, they've been studying us. I mean, this is why I know it's easy to kind of fall into this idea, like that David Icke presents a lot of, like, the alien race and they're not humans, because it does feel so removed from us, and does feel like they've been studying us as if they are like alien invaders, and they've been studying humans for a long time, and they've like finally mastered, okay, because they don't seem to have the same emotions. So to me, it's like, it doesn't matter if they're aliens or not. The fact that they don't have human emotions, they're not human in that sense. They don't have, to me, like, the most important things that distinguishes us from them, or from even, like, you could say other animals, although we can't really say, I mean, Monkey would argue with me that they have empathy. I've seen empathy in animals too. So I don't know that we're completely unique that way. But to me, it's like, you have to, okay, to be like a sentient creature or animal, you have to have empathy, and you have to have compassion, you have to have love. And if you lack all those things, then how are you actually human? How are you a sentient being? What are you? I don't know. But that's what is, like, to me, that defines evil, and that's how evil comes about, because you can't actually commit an evil act, at least not consciously, if you have empathy. You could never consciously hurt another person or kill them. We might make mistakes and unconsciously hurt each other, but we wouldn't deliberately. And there's obviously evidence of deliberate intention to hurt us and to enslave us and to control us and to dumb us down and to weaken us. So that is a kind of evil that arises from the lack of empathy, the lack of those qualities. So whether or not they were born with them or they were bred to be like that, or, I mean, these are all like questions we probably can't answer. We could just speculate on. but they're definitely not the same as we are. And what the thing that I feel like is the most important is to communicate to people is that the reality of this, the reality of the fact that there are these people, that there are these entities that look like humans, that pretend to be humans, that mimic humanity, mimic empathy, mimic kindness, pretend it, and they do not possess it. So because the hardest thing for people, with the regular person, average person with empathy, to appreciate like these conspiracies, you could say, is that they can't relate to them, because we always immediately project ourselves on other people and empathize, try to like project our empathy
That's
onto
true,
them.
yeah.
And they do not have it. So you have to appreciate that they don't have it. And that's why they can do these things. Because of course you and I can't do them. And that's why it's so hard to conceive of others doing this. But we can take these examples. If we've had to encounter these kind of people in our daily lives or in our own personal intimate experiences, it kind of awakens in us the reality of their existence. Because, and if you're able to look at that, I mean, a lot of people don't want to look at it. They'll make excuse after excuse after excuse for the abuser, for the vampire, because they don't want to accept that they are not the same. They don't want to accept that they don't have empathy. So we'll project our empathy onto them. We'll project our traits onto them in order to excuse bad behavior, in order to excuse the abuse. We'll make up they'll help us. Like,
Yes.
they'll kind of like, you know, as soon as you start saying,
Stockholm
oh, maybe
syndrome.
it's because of whatever, they'll say, oh, yeah, that's it. That's exactly right. You know,
Stockholm
you're right.
syndrome, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, so
That's
this
what
is
it is.
not exactly. So people aren't willing to look at that in your own personal little microcosm of the, you know, the world, then how are you going to appreciate it on a larger scale?
Yeah.
Like, we have to understand these people are among us. They're sociopaths among us. There's not a lot, luckily. I mean, most people are not that way. Most
No.
people but are following orders though from them. So they end up harming people. Like I said, it's not intentional, but like you could look at the hospitals and these, you know, doctors and nurses that are complying with all these things, thinking they're doing something good, because they cannot conceive of an intention to harm, of intention to actually harm the masses, or like not even care, or not care, at least not care, you know, not care about collateral damage, as they'll call it. But like, I think it's beyond that, because they definitely have the knowledge of what they're doing. There's no way they don't. If we can figure it out ourselves and uncover these, you know, the information, then of course they have it. They've had it for a long time. So to me, if they have the information already, they know the things that they force us into, or coerce us into, are harmful for us, then obviously there's intention to harm. So it's criminal. This is why we're talking about crimes against humanity on a really large scale right now, happening now.
Yeah.
And it's like, because they're I mean, and I guess that, yeah, they do probably just get their energy from the fact that you know, they feed off of this fear, they feed off of that adrenaline maybe that we're releasing or something, the power it feels like they have from it. They get off on that. I don't know, it's hard to, again, we're never going to fully understand them, because we're not like that, and we don't have to fully understand them, because you don't really want to get too much inside of that head and that kind of way of thinking. You don't want to like get corrupted by it.
That's
But
it.
you just have to appreciate that exists, you know, there. And this is like,
You're spot on.
yeah, this is what's
You're
running
spot on.
everything right now, is that kind of energy, those kind of beings are they're running the show. This is
Yeah, but
why
look at that
we're in this situation.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk across you there.
No, yeah.
Sorry,
It's fine.
sorry, I was a bit rude there. But
No.
look at this, some word ending in Chrome that
Yes.
I can't mention the beginning of
Yes.
it. That, is based on Terrified.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
all adults will understand what it is. And the governments run people by fear. The emotional vampire, they control by straining your emotions to the extreme.
Yeah.
There's something about the stress of keeping you emotionally down. I mean, my sister, I think she's probably insane. She became a narcissist. And again, look at that. So what was that chap, that comedian called Hancock's Half Hour? He was a boozer.
Yeah,
And
Tony
he turned his
Hancock.
wife Tony Hancock, yeah, thanks, Deb. And he turned his wife into an alcoholic because she couldn't stand it. But it's all to do with fear. And what you're saying, Shannon, about these people, have you ever heard of a book called Political Ponerology? It's a
No.
heavy book. it was written in Poland in the 70s during the communist era, and it was about just what you were talking about. These leaders who, I mean, it's like, as I say, these emotional psychopaths. They look normal. They can be really nice to you. That you would never dream of it. And this is why I call it the "oh, surely not" situation, because they are so like us, and they sway so many people. And I think that emotional vampires and politicians are very similar.
Yeah,
because they've got that kind of, what is it? You know, you look at somebody, they make a speech, and you think, oh, they're marvelous, and then they'll a couple of years down the line, they'll be against what they originally spoke for.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
things like that.
What's amazing to me is they constantly lie to us, and yet people still fall for them over and over again. They forget a lot. But I think I think a couple of things are happening. And one is there's this hypnosis. They learn these hypnotic techniques. And so when they're speaking to you, when they speak to the public, address the public, they're using hypnosis. And so you're not really taking in what they're saying or appreciating what they're saying. It's just they're like using that manipulation and an emotional manipulation as well. With everything is so orchestrated and planned out when they do these speeches. You know, that it's like we can't even like, we can't even like appreciate, appreciate how much they put into that and how much they practice this. It's like beyond us, but this is also the other thing I think that's interesting is that in all of these cases, there's confidence at play, right? So we're attracted to confidence because, and I'll say this, okay, it's a lot easier to be confident when you don't have these messy human emotions, like that we all, us commoners sort of deal with, right? So we kind of admire it, I think, because we're like, oh, they're so confident. And we think it must mean something special, like that it must mean that they are really intelligent then, or they're really, they are deserving of their role because they must be so much better than us because they're so confident, because none of us feel like we could fill those shoes and behave the same way because we feel like we'd stutter and we'd mess up, we'd be nervous, because our own other, like our emotions come in the way of that, right? So when I'm doing this podcast stuff, of course I'm stuttering. I don't say things perfectly. I don't have a speech prepared, but this is natural conversation, right? We're having natural conversations. And I mean, with practice, when you do it a lot, it's easier, but and by no means, and like, could any of us that like people who have empathy, I think, pull that off, be that confident. I mean, maybe I'm not saying like, for example, I mean, John Hamer comes on, like he's a good public speaker. He's had to practice at it a long time. He does that. He gets up in front of people, and that's something but it was hard for him to do it first. He'd admit it to me because he has human emotions, and I'm just saying, if you don't have those emotions, it's going to be a lot easier. It's going to be well, for one thing, you can lie. You can lie through your teeth. You can lie over and over again. You have no problems. You have no conscious objection. You're not going to like have trouble sleeping at night because you're lying to everybody. Whereas like if I can't even tell a lie in jest most of the time, like I have to immediately tell somebody that I was joking because I can't even like feel like that it's too uncomfortable for me for a minute to like make something up, but they do it all the time.
Just imagine that all three of us had to lie and tell everybody that we're in Australia. All right, so you're not in California,
right,
Shannon, and Deb and I are not in UK. I'm in Fockham rather, and so are you, Deb. But we're actually in Australia. Now, I've never been to Australia, but I've seen pictures of it, and you'd have people questioning us, and we'd be a bit distant about it. What's the weather like there today? Oh bloody, I better look that up.
like the questions that the people who went to the moon had about the stars.
What about the stars? Do you see the stars? But Joe Lanza's put an interesting one. Hello, Joe. I know Joe. So hello, Joe. And I put here, she's put, even if you really know a person, they still know how to play you.
Well, especially, I mean, the thing is, you think you know them, and that's what's the trick. Like, you never can, they'll always hide something. And maybe they don't, in a way, it's like, maybe they're not even hiding. They just don't have that depth to them, And so like, there's nothing more to discover. Maybe it's all just but I mean, there is something they'll hide.
Yeah.
I mean, in case I had a recent case where it was just, I can't go into too much, but it's just that I found this person also just like we were saying about the politicians, like constantly lying and about weird things and about small things. And once you like break trust with somebody, you realize that they could lie about anything. You can't trust. I didn't know what this person was saying when it was true or not true, and it's like, it messes with your head so badly because I mean, it's very disorienting.
Well, they have
You
to
know,
be
so you
good.
don't know how to
It's
handle
right.
that. Yeah.
But they can be found out of being liars, and this is the
Yeah.
other thing you see, because
Still deny it though.
Yeah.
No, but the thing is, they don't get embarrassed.
No,
The
not
main thing
embarrassed.
there's where we would get embarrassed if someone found us out. I mean,
No,
look at these politicians that have been
they don't
caught
care.
in bed with God knows what, little boys, women.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
embarrassment.
No,
Not
you know
at
what they
all.
do? They best is they gaslight. And
Yes.
so you could have record it, you could play it back and say, you said this. And they'll say, oh, but what I meant, you're taking it out of context, or what I
Yeah.
meant was you don't remember
it.
the rest of the circumstances, or I was speaking about this other thing. And it's amazing how much they'll twist it, because I mean,
Yeah,
I've said this to, like, that's politicians. And I've said this to this person I'm thinking of. I said, I'm like, wait, you said, no, you said this happened. No, what you told me before was this other thing. And he just said, no, it was this. And I'm like, no, you said this. No, it was, I mean, just, wow,
they'll argue
like,
black and
so,
white.
yeah. And it makes you
Yeah.
feel like, so what they're trying to do is make you mistrust your own memory
Yeah.
and your own ability to like rationalize, or to, you're having to question your own sanity and your
Yeah.
memories. So you're
Yeah.
saying, well, no, I mean, because he's so confident that it was absolutely not. He never said that before. Nope, absolutely not.
Or you read it between the lines.
Yeah. And then it's like, so you have to go, okay, well, that's crazy. I mean, because again, we're projecting our own emotions onto people. We think, well, I wouldn't lie like that, so how could they be doing that? I must have misunderstood them. This is like, and this is happening on this larger scale. Like, oh, we must have misunderstood. I mean, I've heard people defend politicians like, oh my gosh. And I'll say, like, remember we said this? Well, that was just, but see, they're just going on the information they had at the time. They're doing their best. That was the information they had at the time. So it wasn't really a lie. It was just that they didn't know any better, like what's happening now. Well, this isn't effective anymore. This, the thingy. And, but we thought we said it was 100% effective, but that's because that was the data we had at the time. Blah, blah, blah. Now it's blah, blah. We need a different kind of law. We're all trying to help everybody. We're doing the best we can. Blah, blah.
Well, so the only politician that came out with something I agreed with was Ronnie Reagan, when he said the most frightening words you could ever hear in the English language is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help you. I think he was spot on with that. It's about the only honest thing. I agree with him there. I'm from the government, I'm here to help you. Because again, you look at what a government does and an emotional psychopath, a vampire does.
Yeah.
I almost said psychopath then.
Yeah.
And that is, the government offers you goodies.
Yeah.
Come with us. They're like the child catcher in the film Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Come with us.
Yeah.
We're nice people.
Yeah. What?
With that government, for example, when you was talking about earlier, they make you think, for example, well, it's a bit like, I will ring you or text you, and they don't. And then when you see them, they say, well, I sent one through.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't get it? Oh,
you didn't get it? Oh, it was a problem with your phone then.
Like the one in a billionth.
I'm upset you didn't respond to it. Everybody else,
it's come through.
Right.
That's it. There's always that, I'm upset because you didn't respond to me. I sent this lovely long. Yeah.
How about this one? I was just seeing, so your ex, Doris, your Muppet. You guys had Muppets, right? Or Muppets are.
Yeah, we had the Muppet Show. Yeah.
Yeah, he reminds me of a Muppet.
Yeah.
It's that floppiness, that floppy hair and everything, right? So Doris, at the beginning of the when they were, what are we going to call it? Can we even say JAB, or is that?
Oh yes. No, we go the.
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
So when he was trying to just encourage people, and he was shown on the telly he just got his job, and everybody, I just want to say, I just got mine and it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt a bit. And I'd say everyone should go ahead and get yours too. Do your bit, and go ahead and just do that because it's good for you. He said
It's
it's
good.
good. It's
Yes,
good
that's
for
right.
you. And yes, so yes, jolly good. So then
And they had the cap on, didn't they? When they
yeah, probably right. And then a few weeks later, or so when like people aren't complying as much as they want, he starts threatening everybody.
Yeah.
It sounds totally different. I mean, talk about psychopathic and like, just abusive. It's like you're all nice about it and jolly and whatever, and then he was saying these people they're stupid idiots.
Yeah.
They're just stupid and you're
Gonna kill
idiots.
everybody
If you
else.
don't do this, you're an idiot yes, an idiot. It's like
Oh,
wow.
that's
Insults
right.
and everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. I mean, you want to be in a
Yeah.
relationship with that? And
No.
this is your prime minister.
Balls.
Like, I mean, it was, right?
That's, actually, I like the president at the moment. He sort of dribbles, doesn't he? He's like,
Yeah.
to actually dig him up in the morning because he always looks as if they just dug him up.
Yeah.
Oh,
They have
yeah,
to warm
I
him
would
up a bit. He's a
say.
bit cold the other morning.
Well, speaking of vampires, Chris,
Yeah.
I think they're just getting him out of his coffin.
Biden, the
Yeah.
dribbler. I mean, let's face it, he's not president of the United States, is he? And he's just a sort of.
Oh,
They could
yeah.
have a cardboard cutout and people.
Figure
vote
out.
Oh,
for it.
yeah.
Well, they'd
I
vote
mean,
for
it
him,
doesn't
let's
matter
face
who's
it, he's still
that position anyway, because we know who controls them. That's
Yeah.
what matters.
V's come
fine.
up with an
Yeah.
interesting one here. It says, do what with pineal gland?
Yeah,
Oh,
Chris,
well-
because earlier you were saying don't let them mess with it. You're talking about sort of.
Oh,
new
yes,
age
that's right.
people
Well,
and
if you
stuff.
see last week's show,
I think V
I
missed
spoke
that
about
show
it.
last week.
you
Yeah.
probably missed it last week. What it
Yeah.
is, I said that you can link your pineal gland together, and it's quite an amazing experience. And if your frequencies
Oh.
and energy levels that are on the same level, then it will be quite an experience.
Just
But
don't drag anybody off the street to do it with.
Right.
no,
Right.
and
I
don't
think-
do it.
No,
Don't
really
make
well.
silly
Yeah, I would
mistakes
say on that
because
yeah.
what can happen? Something nasty can get into you.
Yeah. Don't
Because
meditate with
you've
them.
got your heart open,
Yeah.
and bloody hell,
This is
But,
why it's so hard with these, to trust people in even in a meditation circle or whatever, because those kind of vampires they always seek out people who want to come to something like that where we're in a space where they're willing to be vulnerable. That's where you'll find a vampire, usually in charge of the group.
Yes.
So which is why it's so hard, even just finding a good massage therapist or like a chiropractor, because they're also attracted to those kind of jobs where they could like use that position to violate boundaries and and so it's like, group meditations can be really powerful and everything, but it can be really dangerous. Or even like, you're saying, Chris, with another person, if you open up to the wrong person, if you're open up, because I remember this certain one that we were dealing with was like sort of threatening to do like a group meditation thing, and we're like, oh gosh, no. I mean, if you're thinking no, I don't want to do meditation with that person, then you don't do one. Right?
we ignore our gut feeling.
Yeah.
No, sorry,
Gut
Deb, I didn't mean to
feeling.
talk over, but
No,
we've
you're
got
right.
a gut feeling, and this is the trouble game with these emotional vampires. You ignore your gut feeling. I mean,
Yes.
I'd had past experience of them. I knew what they're up to, and there's this sensible part of me saying, bloody hell, get the shit out of here. It's what I call beam me up, Scotty moment. Beam me up, Scotty. And then this other part is being really drawn in and drawn in and drawn in. You think, whoa, you're like sort of like an escalator. And,
I think you're right, Chris, because you do, because we're all sensible people and we're sensitive.
Yeah.
And why it's like I have to ask myself afterward, like, why did I get sucked into that? Because like here, I mean, I felt wrong at first, whatever, and why was I overriding that? Like, what was doing that to me to override my instinct and to go along with something?
Yeah.
Right. And
Spot
so
on,
it's like,
Salloway.
so it's like we shouldn't blame ourselves like we're weak or anything. We just have to understand. And I think the first step is just understanding that people like this exist and that they are master manipulators and they don't have scruples and they don't have a conscience. So if you just the awareness of it can help you put you on your guard, because you remember that it's like possible for people to do that, right? Like it is possible. So if you don't have that awareness, then you're really going to be taken down the garden path, as they say, or whatever.
Yes.
You're spot on. And also, there's two types of New Age.
Mhm.
There's the government directed ones,
Yeah.
which it was actually, spiritual awakening and all that. That was actually designed, as I've said before, by the secret services. That's
Yep.
a load of bullshit. And if you go to Glastonbury, you find all this, spiritual awakening stuff. And then there's the real stuff that I'm interested in
Yeah.
from Tibet, where you've got these bowls that you can ring with. You can put the bowl on your head. Seriously, I'm not joking.
Yeah.
You put your bowl on the head and it rings round and it heals. And
Yeah.
they've got healing frequencies. That's the real stuff that I'm interested in. But all this other bloody stuff, where the low crotch trouser brigade come along, you always tell them, low crotch trousers, here it comes.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry for anybody who wears low crotch trousers who isn't like that, but you think,
The majority of them.
Okay.
But you know what I mean? Sort of, that's the blokes.
I want to say something about shamans. Well, Mankina was trying to say earlier, is that okay, I have this friend that had been going to shamans for years and years and years, right? And like distance healing ones or whatever.
Yeah.
And the weird thing to me, so she would say, okay, oh yeah, my shaman's great. And she's paying her like $100 a session, once a week or whatever. And I was like, wow, it's a lot of money, because she's like spending this money every week. And then she'd say, well, I really feel like she'd say, I really feel drained from the session. Like I feel horrible after. And she'd say, that's because it's working. It's like this idea that we have about medicine right now, that it's working if it makes you really sick and like you feel like you're going to die, right? Just push through it. And so she kept calling it detox. So I had to be really aware of that and be wary, of the detox label, right? Because if you are detoxing, you should do it gently. And this goes for whatever detox you're doing. It should never be really painful. You should never like knock you out. It's not healthy for you to detox in that manner, because you need to recover. You can't you're actually harming yourself. So whether it be emotional or physical detox, if you're allowing yourself to, be floored by whatever's happening and just be destroyed by it, then obviously that's not a good approach. And so that can go in the emotional, sense, energetic sense as well. So I don't think if somebody's really helping you energetically that you should feel horrible after and have to recover for like a whole week or 2 weeks or whatever. So like after like a year of this, she finally, I sort of gently tried to say that to her. Finally, she said, yeah, I don't think this one has been very ethical. I think she's been like using that to like energetically attack me and harm me. And I was like, well, yeah, I could have, I've been trying to tell you that. And then, but the thing is, she goes to another one and starts the whole cycle again, same kind of pattern, right? So I'd say it's really difficult to find an ethical, not that there aren't any or whatever, and that can't be a good experience, but whatever, when you do that, you are opening yourself up energetically to that person, and you better have a really high degree of trust.
Yes.
And, and even like I've heard, see, this is the thing. I think it's tricky because I think a lot of energy healers mean well and they're trying, but they might not understand what they're doing either. And I think that you might be opening these portals to maybe these sort of demony things around that are like waiting just for a chance to jump in there. And so you're allowing the opening to be there. I think maybe the better approach is to sort of think about grounding your energy and protecting yourself. Like, because if you're just thinking like, I don't know if you have to like eliminate or have an exorcist or whatever, somebody to take these things out of you. Maybe you can learn to ground and like get rid them yourself,
I agree.
just start to sort of, because the whole thing is about protecting ourselves from energies. And I don't know, I've just gone through it myself, and I feel like I've had these same kind of experiences. And I don't think honestly, I don't know if my friend was even right to say that shaman was unethical. I think maybe the shaman thought she was doing something good. Again, I think a lot of this is so beyond us. We're so kind of ignorant, I think, about spiritual and energetic things on purpose. That's really difficult to navigate. And so we might be engaging in something unintentionally that we just don't know about. It's just, something we're not prepared for. And so I just would say be very cautious.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree. I mean, there's lots of these things that are dangerous. For example, I believe in doing these chants on your own. So Oming, I got into about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And although, again, if you're with a someone who's emotional vampire, you make out you don't know anything about it. That's a little white lie, but that's to draw them out.
Yeah.
To find out whether they actually know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And the thing with that is you're chanting, but you've got to be careful. And if you do it in a group, you don't know what's coming in.
Yeah.
So it's best to be on your own. And if there's things with gongs and all that, all very well, but you don't know who's in that room.
Mm-hmm.
And there's these things called gong baths. It's not actually physically bars. You're fully dressed, and you get into like a sort of, you bring your pillows and covers and that, and you lay there and you sort of so relax, and the person goes boing, 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 and they charge you a small fortune to do that for about an hour. But you don't know what the bleeding hell's in that room.
No.
So the best thing is to get the gong, seriously, off of YouTube. And you can do it. It does it for an hour. Someone doing it for you on YouTube. So you don't have to. There's a lot of these things, but you. With change.
You could buy yourself like one of those singing bowls.
Yeah.
You know, do some of
I'm gonna
that.
get one.
Yeah, I think it's great to engage with a musical instrument of some kind, or do like a singing bowl thing, yourself in your own space. Because first of all, whenever we try to do sound healing stuff through the internet, you're going through a digital medium and through speakers. So you can't really have the same vibrations that are intended from using those things. Like you really, if you can, like a singing bowl or didgeridoo or whatever, if you do that in person, if that's like in your space, even playing a guitar, it's so much different than just listening to it through a speaker.
Well, with myself, I know somebody I can trust that does that. She does this.
Great.
So I'll go and see her, but there'll be nobody else.
Yeah.
So that is the thing. You sort of heal that way. Hello, is Bob coming on? He's envious, a monkey, isn't he? Hello, Bob. Evening, Bob. Hello, mate.
Bob. Hi, Bob.
Is he Deputy Prime Minister of the Yorkshire branch of Fockham Hall?
He is, yes.
Yes. Does he know? He wouldn't know.
With his neck in the air.
I see.
He wouldn't know. And I can't explain it.
Yes. He wouldn't know the Fockham Hall Prime Minister, Roger Ring, the cat.
Yes.
Have you heard of him, Shannon?
Have you seen Roger Ring?
Sorry, my mute was on. No, I don't know who that is.
You see, it's the Prime Minister of Fockham Hall.
Where is it?
His surname is Ring, and his first name is Roger.
Here we go, Shannon. There's Roger Ring.
Roger Ring, the cat. You see?
Oh, that's cool.
Apparently, Joe Biden likes Roger Ring, the cat.
Yes.
Yes, he's a very keen fan of Roger Ring, the cat.
Oh wait, how do you share a screen? I want to show a picture of how do I show a picture of my kitties?
Down at the bottom it should say share or present. Share,
present. Okay, let me see what that does then.
Yeah.
Aha. Okay, a video. No, slides. I guess that is. Oh, I see. No, my computer. Okay. Hold on. I'm trying to figure this out.
It's all right.
Aha.
Bob the cat. I love that one. Bob. He said something unusual name for a cat. Hello, Bob.
That's pretty good.
Because there was the street cat called Bob who used to go out with the busker. And he used to sit by the road as the bloke was busking. He'd just sit there with like a knitted scarf on. People knitted him little scarves and things. And when Bob appeared, he appeared and he looked like Bob the cat. So we called him Bob. And he answers to it. So he likes it.
Bob.
I actually had a friend with a cat named Bob. But it's because it looked like a bobcat, like had the short tail. So it got the name Bob. All right, I see I have to do
What should you doing that? There's some interesting ones here. Roger Ring is a friend of Master. Yes. Cool. Yes, that is the Deputy Prime Minister, of course, Master. Yes. But some interesting ones here. There's one from Ancient Ruby. I've had many narcissists come my way. I used to think, and still do at times, that the gods send all the demons to me. So now I say no. Easier said than done. But remember, if you think you found someone that likes you, and you start to remember, it's a bit like, as I say, a pot of honey to a bee. Can the bee resist it? even though there might be a trap there, you know, and seen and stuff. Yes, he was in a sticky situation recently, isn't he?
Captain
Now it's got here, was it? I had to block one yesterday when it suddenly dawned on me. Luckily, this is Cat Holdsworth. Hello, Kath, rather. Kath. Hello, Cat Holdsworth. I'm seeing your pussycat on the side there. I had to keep a distance, but started to dread the text. Felt much better after blocking.
Yes.
That's what you do. Yes. But again, if you're seeing the person, don't be rude. Just be
polite.
But they will know. They'll know because they sort of like mind readers. They'll know that the game's over. Oh, hang on.
Hang on.
There it is.
Oh, look.
Lovely.
What's the black one saying?
She's like winking. That's Mina.
Oh.
Yeah, she's like winking. She talks to us. So that was her going, meow, meow. So when we say hi to her, she goes, meow, meow.
I love that.
And
All I do
then
is turn Bob on it.
Roz is the other one. They're litter mates.
Are
They're 7 years old and they've been together since birth.
Oh.
Lovey-doveys.
And they love them.
Gorgeous.
Oh, I love them. I really do.
Anyway, that was just one I came across. I mean, I have so many pictures of them cuddling and stuff, but that was one I came across recently. I thought was funny.
I like
I
that.
had it on my desktop.
Thanks for that.
Sure.
Yeah.
How do I
I'm a
stop
great
doing
fan
that?
of
How do I?
pussycats.
What? Oh, I see. Now I got to. Okay, remove from. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Here we
Got
go. That's nice, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
But
That's
isn't that lovely? Thanks for showing that. Anyway, let's have a look back in it. Ponky boos.
Ponky boos.
Now this is an interesting one here. Louise Thorne had a spiritual awakening after I recovered and found I was a medium and healer. All good in the end.
Excellent.
And I won't tell my gag about the medium, the one that started laughing, so I hit her because I like to strike a happy medium. Sorry.
Very funny.
No.
Oh, can I tell a joke I just heard recently? And I forget where I heard
Okay.
it, but you'll appreciate it. Maybe you guys will get it before I finish telling it. But there was a pair of American Siamese twins, and they wanted to travel to England to go on holiday. And so the question is why they wanted to go there. Do you know the answer?
Because they're insane.
Because the other one, so the other one could drive.
Oh, bloody hell. Yeah.
I like that.
Yes, I like that one.
That one. I have a lot of friends that'll go like that. Don't get that. I do.
Now, Joanne says, what is it? Detoxing.
That's all she says.
Now, the thing is that, oh, by the way, and V. McCrinnan likes Shannon's card. Oh. That's very nice of you. And now, detoxing, and she's gone on to say, you need to do shadow work, an inner child, to get rid of them. Possibly. Yes, that's interesting. And it's got here. I have a book called. Hang on, we've read that. We've read that one out. Sorry, that's.
Oh, it's good. I gotta look that up.
I've gone dark. Not in that kind of spiritual way, but my computer in.
I thought you just meant like like you're doing undercover work.
Yeah.
I get Robbie Green's sense of humour here. Chris, perhaps they look for people who don't believe in dinosaurs.
Uh-oh, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yes, we don't believe in dinosaurs. Now, this is a very, very interesting one from Crikey. Demons need to get invited in
Ouija board,
or given legal right to enter. For example, by a Ouija board.
You don't know what you're doing.
You know what's really
Well, did
interesting
you know-
about that one is this person I've been sort of alluding to during our conversation today
Mhm.
had one of those on the premises, allegedly for entertainment purposes. But I was like, ooh. And
Yeah.
I've had experiences. I know people have had experiences with that, and I think like I think what we need to learn, like anything, about giving consent or not giving consent. I think the whole system, our
Yeah.
whole enslavement is sort of based around that idea. Of course, people were giving our consent without it being informed, but they don't care about
Mm.
that part of it. But I think that's the same idea with these demons and things, anything of a spiritual nature, that it's sort of like they see it as a contract of some kind. And if you decide not to do the contract anymore, you could even just do your own little kind of ritual and say out loud or whatever, like I'm nullifying all contracts, like something like that. Just like, nope, I'm saying no to this. I'm done.
Mm.
Maybe I said yes. Maybe I was tricked into saying yes at some point. I don't remember when,
Mm.
but I've decided I'm not contracting anymore with,
Mm.
the people or the entities or the energies, whatever. And, I'm out. So because you think about it, if that's how it started, then why can't you nullify it and get out of it?
Yeah.
There should be a way
Yeah.
to do that, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Kath has mentioned something interesting here. Gaslighting, which
Yeah.
I didn't cover.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of
Mm.
gaslighting.
Mm-hmm.
And that is start of that, oh, I rang you and all that.
Mhm.
That is gaslighting. They do
Well,
that.
like I said, that the lie, like catching somebody lying, them just totally denying it, saying, you must
Mm.
remember that wrong. That's not right. I didn't
That's not
say
what
that.
I
I didn't say it,
No.
Yes.
Like,
Well, I always
wow.
remember old, was it Slick Willie, as they called him? What was it, Clinton?
Oh, yeah.
I did not have sex with that woman.
Yeah.
And he looked straight in the camera.
Yeah, read
Yeah.
my
I did not
lips.
have sex with that woman.
He said, read my lips too, I think.
Yeah,
Wait,
read my-
I went to Obama. I said, read my lips. I did not smoke marijuana or something. No, it was Clinton.
No,
saying
didn't inhale, did he?
marijuana. I didn't inhale.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's just the stupidest. I mean, this is the thing. It's like, how stupid do they think we are? It's amazing. Obviously, very. With a lot of the things they say, it's like, what? Why would you even be smoking if you? I mean, obviously, the idea of smoking is that you inhale.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
I guess he said, oh, it was for show. I was pretending. I was just trying to get along. Peer pressure.
Yeah.
I went to the toilet, but I didn't urinate.
Monica went down on me, but I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I was in my car on Sunday, and I never listened to the radio. I never put the radio on at home, and I've decided to put the radio on. I was driving along.
Were you bored?
A bit bored driving along. So I put the radio on, and we've got a thing called Classic FM over here.
Yeah.
Have you got similar in America, Shannon?
Sure,
Classic
yeah.
FM, classical music, you see.
Right.
But they have these crappy cancer adverts all the time coming on. So this person's dying, but just send a few pounds and you can
We'll
help.
cure it.
Yeah.
That's it. And then the news came on, you see. So I switched at the right time. And when you hear it, it's so childish, it's frightening.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sort of the Prime Minister has said this, and who's that? I can't even remember his name. The twat who's in the opposition. What was his name?
Oh,
Keir Starmer. Keir
Starmer.
Starmer has said the government isn't fit to govern. Oh, really? Oh, how nice. And how do they work that one out? Do they get together and work? Because quite honestly, they're all the same, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're all usually scammer worshippers. So
Yeah.
what's the
Yeah.
point? It's unbelievable.
It
And
is.
Well,
This is
they've done. See, the thing is, they've dumbed down the population so that they don't even
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I mean, I find it. I've seen over the years it getting worse. Like with news articles, how they're written. They were written a lot more intelligibly, at least like 20 years ago. Even though they're still full of crap, it was still like using better vocabulary. Just now it's like wow. It's just like you can't even do that. It's just
That's
it's so
right.
simplistic and like it's like I feel like all that there's this kind of voice I feel like that's sort of the same voice and that comes from all the officials that it just sounds like they're talking to children.
Yeah, it's condescending.
Yeah.
And it's very condescending and
Yeah.
it's insulting, but people have been attacked for so long with like even fluoride, talking about the pineal gland. The pineal
Yeah.
gland is affected directly by it. It is the gland that gets out of everything in your body. It accumulates the fluoride more than anything. And
Yes.
there have been studies showing that this actually lowers IQ, this calcification of the pineal gland. So the pineal gland is multifunctional, and one is releasing hormones like melatonin to aid in sleep, and also serotonin to lift your
Yes.
mood.
Mood, yeah.
But it also, and it's seen as a seat of higher consciousness, like the third eye. So, extrasensory perception, releasing DMT, astral out of body experiences, all of this, and psychic experiences. But so this is why it's attacked, right? Because it's basically, it represents like our higher intelligence and our mystical, all these like powers we would have if it weren't so messed up, right? So people's pineal glands are like completely calcified. Basically they're non-functioning, which explains a lot of the insomnia problems too.
Yeah.
But and other hormonal problems, because it all has a cascading effect. But yeah, so you attack that, and it's been deliberate. Like they know the fluoride accumulates there, so then you add it to the water supply. You add it to all these products. You make kids, to take it, a lot of it. We had to drink fluoride. We had to drink fluoride when I went to school. We'd come in the morning, first class. We did a Pledge of Allegiance. They had this program for a while. It wasn't the whole time, and I don't know how long it went on. But I remember they had us swishing the fluoride, and I don't know if our teacher was lazy or what, but she didn't want us to have to go to the sink and spit it out. She had us swish it in our mouths and drink it. So we were drinking little cups of fluoride every morning for how long, right? But you can get out of this trap you can actually detoxify just by stopping. Like I think you have to keep having it. So as long as you make sure your water and your food doesn't have fluoride, you can begin to heal that gland. And I think that's what's happened for me, in terms of even just this electrosensitivity. So-called, I think it's a heightened sensitivity that we maybe would all have normally, but since our pineal gland's been attacked, it's like we don't have it. And so because they want us to be desensitized, they want us to be sick, they want us to be dumb, and it's also the seat of high, like, critical thinking. Right. So it's so important. So if you think about it, that's a perfect thing to attack in your body, because you'll have a populace that can't think critically, that's been dumbed down, that has no spiritual anything, that has no sensitivity, so it's so easy to lead them. And that's why they're condescending to you, because most people like are at that level of that's where they are right now. And the fertility, right? Look at that.
Exactly. Fluoride dumbs down baby rats and lowers fertility. That's interesting. But actually, this is Michelle Scouse. Hello, Michelle. Are you the lady that does the blogs on Facebook? I think you may be. Lowering vibrations, and they're very good, by the way. Thank you very much. Lowering vibrations, low entities are attracted.
Yeah.
So I really do think they can adjust their vibration level. But what we were talking about with this pineal gland, Shannon, is if you you're with your partner now. If you actually obviously got to really trust the person, know the person who do this. If you link your pineals, which is about there, they put it there, but it's about there. And in anywhere between a minute and 5 minutes, it should kick in. And to yourself, you do a sort of chant, like an om, but you do a sort of chant through, but you don't let the person hear that, and they will be there. It's the most incredible experience. It really is. And in about 3 or 4 minutes, it kicks in.
Right.
You go into sort of
with Bob when we've finished.
You do it, Bob. I'll be never going. In fact, it'd be good doing it with Bob, wouldn't it?
Not really. It'd probably eat me.
I have a tip for the pineal gland for decalcifying, and I've just been learning about more sun gazing.
Right.
So we can do candle gazing too, and actually kind of lead up to sun gazing, but like staring at the candle. But so you look at the sun. They say either from a half hour to an hour before or after sunset or sunrise, anywhere within that window. Right when it's coming up or when it's going down, it's not going to hurt your eyes. Because it's not powerful enough. But you still want to do it in increments. Some say like 15 seconds at a time. You build on that, and until you can like go up to 45 minutes apparently. And that's sort of the max. But I've done it now for like 20 minutes at a time or something, just with a setting sun. But I think it's
what do you do,
interesting.
Shannon? Sorry, what's this?
So you just stare at the sun when it's setting or rising. So when it's in a weaker position, right, where you won't go blind. And some people say if you do this for long enough, I don't know. I mean, I haven't, I wouldn't say test it necessarily, but you could build up to doing it at higher positions in the sky.
Yeah.
But the thing is to go really gradual with it. And you're supposed to have you be ground barefoot on the ground.
Yes.
Because somehow you're like grounding this energy out or something. But that looking at the sun is supposed to awaken the pineal gland and like decalcify it. And in fact, there's something called, I think it's called a mitra. It's like supposed to be this nectar that comes down your throat after you've done it. If you put your tongue to the top of your roof of your mouth and you do this like long enough, or like you do it to practice for, not just long enough each time, but for a long enough period overall, it releases this like taste, this nectar down your throat from the pineal gland, supposedly, that tastes like really amazing and sweet and has like this, I don't know what it does to you or whatever for you, but that's what experienced sun gazers, like some of them say, and it is sort of in this, maybe written about somewhere in some ancient Hindu text or something. But I think it's called a mitra, like AMITRA.
Mitra.
Yeah, I think. So I'm not 100% sure, but that I think that just feels really interesting to do it, and I think there's a lot of reasons where sun is constantly like vilified. Oh, don't go out in the sun, and don't look at it, and all this, and because another way of like keeping us from that power.
Yeah,
that's interesting, Louise. Also, by using index finger and gently pressing the third eye quickly, awakens it.
That awakens it. We're on about decalcifying.
Yeah, that's true.
That is
maybe that's part of that. It's interesting.
Michelle Scouse says words are spells too.
That's why it's called
spelling.
Yep.
Spelling. That's
spelling
right.
and writing.
Yes.
Writing,
Anyway, I think that we've got a heck of a lot in here tonight. This is fantastic. And
that's right. Sorry, that last one about the chemtrails, right? Because that is another reason I think they're trying to like just block out the sun, because it's a source of power for us. Like not just a source in the sense of like growing plants and that, but like it's a source of like energy directly for humans.
Yes.
And and spiritually, I think.
Yeah.
I like the way he says Paul McCartney. Can't stand Paul McCartney. Is it the real Paul McCartney?
Who knows?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. It might not be. I don't know. Do you know something? I can't really give a shit, really.
Controversial.
That's right. It is, isn't it? So there we go, But by the way, before we go, I'd like to thank everybody. Oh, hello. We got a monkey here now.
He's back.
Hello.
Sorry, I fell asleep. I'm very embarrassed.
And
but maybe next time I wanted to air my grievances about how monkeys are treated in the scientific experiments.
That's
my
right.
monkey's a naughty monkey.
Oh, my. Very naughty. Oh my.
He's having a Philip Schofield there, isn't he?
Right.
Those of us in Britain will understand that game. But what I was going to say is thank you everybody for joining us last week for the special on the Thursday. We enjoyed that.
We did. I love that.
Yeah, and people like Miles have written a lot of nice things. Also, a big apology. John from Siam has written a fantastic write-up.
Yes.
Thank you very much, John. They haven't answered it yet, so I'm not a rude ignorant yet. I just haven't time, but I will.
Yes.
I like to answer everybody's email because if it's the audience that make the show what it is. So and we've got a very polite and very nice audience, so it's only fair I should reply. And hello, we've got some monkeys monkeying around here.
Yeah, we have. Cheeky monkeys.
That's not bad, is it? A cheeky monkey. There we go. Don't mention anything about Brook Bond's tea and we'll be all right. Here we go. That's right. But anyway, thank you very much. We're going to have Miles on again.
Yes.
The reason he can't come on a Monday is because that's his busiest day and he's cream crackered.
Yeah.
So it'll be on a Thursday and we're going to make it a regular.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. I just want to say thank you, Deb and Chris, because this is my debut.
I know.
Excellent.
A film debut and a podcast debut, and I have yes. I'm just so grateful. I've been waiting for a long time for this
You've
opportunity.
been very good. We've enjoyed it.
Oh,
You
good.
enjoyed it? He's a monkey that identifies as Bigfoot.
Yes.
So there we go.
I want to just say I'm not a he. I'm a she. I'm a Monkina.
Oh, Chris.
Oh, blimey.
dear.
Yeah, but you know, we're all into this transy do floppy stuff.
No, I'm not the trans. I'm a real.
I'm not.
No, I'm born.
Oh, woman.
I was made as a female monkey.
Female monkey, eh?
Yes.
Because to me, there's only two sexes, male and female.
Yes, I'm
Oh,
female.
politicians, that's the third one, isn't it?
Monkey's the boy. This is monkey.
Hey, so if you want any monkeys made,
Yeah.
contact Shannon. I would send your dirty socks to her as well, all right? You've got a nice hand there. Or one way you put your hand, that monkey felt very embarrassing, you know.
Yes. Inappropriate touching.
Oh, nice hat you got there. But thank you very much for joining us, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
A great show.
Yeah.
John's likes to say hello to everybody. He's really busy. He's up to his neck in it.
Yeah.
So he's going to be back soon. Miles will be on not every Thursday, but it'll be about once a month.
Yeah.
He'll be on.
Miss Shannon wants to know when she can talk about her book. That's very controversial.
Right.
Wi-Fi. It's available, everybody. It's called Wi-Fi Refugee.
Wi-Fi
Right,
refugee. We've
Wi-Fi
got
refugee. Hang on, we've
Wi-Fi
got a do flop for that, haven't we?
Got
We've got your website. Is it somewhere?
Wi-Fi-refugee.com.
Hang on. We've got some banners for that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it. Where is
There
it?
it is. Got it.
Got it.
Oh,
It
yes.
is.
Yes.
Now we're going to do a show
Buy her
with
book.
Shannon,
I
but
heard
it's going to have to be on BitChute
Yes.
for obvious reasons. And what we're going to do is shall we say, the fluffy bunny parts of the show.
Yes.
I'm going to edit and show highlights on this show.
Yeah.
But you'll have
I
to
don't
see
know
it
if
on
there will.
BitChute.
I don't know if there will be any fluffy bunnies, but it's
There
not a very
certainly will be
fluffy
some
bunny
fluffy.
story.
So there we go. So thank you very much for joining us. If you want to buy Deborah or I a cup of coffee, just look below. And also the other thing is, please join us next week, same time, same place. We're going to have a special next week.
Even I don't know about that one yet.
And even I don't know about it yet. So that's a surprise, isn't it?
Okay.
And remember, ding the bell, ding, 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 ding,
Ding.
and put the thumbs up. Please remember to do that.
Yes.
And if you're wondering why this is not live when you're watching it, it's because you'll be watching it on BitChute, because that goes on tomorrow. So remember, have a look at the BitChute channel, because there's some very nice comments that people make on the BitChute channel as well. That's below the link there. See.
Yep.
So, and whatever happens, have a laugh.
Yes,
And
have a
thank
laugh.
you, Shannon.
Oh,
Thank you, Shannon.
The
Good
monkey.
night.
Thank you, Monkey.
Monkina.
Thank you, Deb.
And monkey.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, John Boy.
Here's the outro.